Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to try and piece together Elon Musk's grand plan for, well, pretty much everything over the next 10 years. It's this wild, interconnected vision that ties together robots, AI, space, even the human brain. Let's dig in and see how he thinks he can pull it all off.
Okay, so right at the center of this whole thing is a prediction that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. Musk is basically saying that within a decade, maybe even less, the whole idea of working for a living, yeah, that could be completely gone.
I mean, how is that even possible, right? It's a pretty radical idea. But it all comes down to a few key technologies that he's actively building them right now. So let's take a look at the pillars that are supposed to make this whole future a reality.
All right, so first up, the AI and robot workforce. Look, the entire foundation for a world where you don't have to work, well, it all rests on two key technologies. The idea is to automate pretty much all human labor, both the physical stuff and the brainy stuff.
So he's attacking this from two sides. For any job that requires you to, actually move stuff around in the real world, think blue-collar work, he's got the humanoid robot, Optimus. Then, for any job that's just about shuffling information, all the white-collar work, that's where artificial general intelligence, or AGI, comes in.
And he doesn't see Optimus as just some clunky factory machine, not at all. He talks about it like your own personal C-3PO, but, way better. The end goal here is to create a robot that's so useful it can do literally anything from walking your dog to, and this is the crazy part, maybe one day even performing surgery.
Okay, but actually building this thing? It's incredibly difficult. Musk is pretty open about the fact that nobody has cracked this yet. He points to three huge hurdles you have to clear. First, you need an AI that can actually understand and move around in the real, messy world. Second, you need to build a hand that's as dexterous as ours. And third, even if you solve those two, you have to figure out how to manufacture millions of them.
So why is he so sure they can pull it off? Well, this is the key. The progress isn't just a straight line. He believes the robot's usefulness is going to explode because you have three different technologies all getting better exponentially at the same time. The AI software is getting way smarter, the chips that run it are getting way faster, and the robot's physical ability to move is also improving exponentially. It's a triple whammy.
And the brain that's going to power all of this? That's AGI. And we're not talking about the kind of AI you use every day, like a simple chatbot. No, this is the real deal. An intelligence Musk believes will be as smart as a human, or even smarter. It could do literally any digital task you can think of, from customer service to designing the next-gen computer chips.
Okay, so we've got a world full of robots and super smart AI, but there's a huge problem. All that stuff needs a ridiculous amount of power. It's a massive physical bottleneck. But of course, Musk thinks he has an equally massive solution. Here's the power dilemma in a nutshell. The demand for AI chips and computing power is skyrocketing. It's an exponential curve going straight up. But our ability to generate more electricity here on Earth, it's basically flat. That creates this huge, growing gap. So the big question is, where do you get the power for all this stuff?
And his answer is, well, it's pretty out there. He says you move the giant, power-hungry AI data centers off the planet completely, put them in orbit around the Earth. And he's not just spitballing here. He thinks this will be the most economically sensible thing to do in just a couple of years.
And the reason why is actually pretty simple. You take a solar panel, you put it in space, and it's about 5 times more effective than that exact same panel down here on the ground. So why is that?
Think about it. Up in orbit, the sun is always shining. There's no night. There are no clouds or bad weather to get in the way. Plus, you don't have our atmosphere, which actually sucks up about 30% of the sun's energy before it even reaches a panel on the ground. So what you get is pure, non-stop power, 24/7. It really does make space the perfect spot to run these incredibly power-hungry machines.
Okay, so we've got an AI and robot workforce, and we've got a new power source in space to run it all. But what's the end game here? What's this all for? For Musk, it all points to one thing: creating a backup for humanity.
And this is where all those pieces really click together: building a city on Mars. See, Musk's plan for Mars is totally different from how we've always imagined it. The old way was, send astronauts up there and have them build a base from scratch in a super dangerous environment. That's incredibly risky. His plan is to take almost all of that risk off the table right from the get-go.
The idea is to first send a whole fleet of starships to Mars, but with no people on board, just packed with Optimus robots. The robots would land, get to work, and build everything. The power grid, the life support, the habitats, everything, before a single human being even leaves Earth. So all the dangerous, backbreaking work is already done and tested by the time the first colonists show up.
So, you've got robots building cities on Mars and AI data centers orbiting the Earth. But what does that mean for the rest of us back here? Well, a shift this big wouldn't just change our economy, it would fundamentally change what it even means to be human.
So in this world where work is optional and robots and AI are making pretty much everything we need, Musk imagines a future of incredible abundance. He calls the economic system for this universal high income. The idea is that the cost of everything, goods, services, basically drops to near zero, and everyone has access to whatever they need to live a really good life.
But, and this is a big but, he's also really clear that getting there won't be smooth. He predicts it's going to be a bumpy ride. Humanity will have to deal with this massive crisis of meaning. Like, what do you do when you don't have to work? He actually predicts there will be a lot of social unrest, even while we're living in this new age of abundance. And this vision goes beyond just changing our economy. It's also about changing us, physically. The same kind of technological leap is being applied directly to the human body. And a really powerful example of this is a new technology called blind sight. So how does blind sight work? Well, it basically bypasses the eyes completely. A tiny camera captures what's going on in the world, and it sends that information straight to a small chip that's been implanted in the brain's visual cortex. That's the part that handles vision. The chip then turns that signal into something the brain can understand as sight. He thinks this could even work for people who are born blind.
Now, he's very upfront that the first versions of this will be pretty low resolution. He's compared it to Atari graphics, so really basic. But the long-term goal isn't just to get people back to normal vision. It's to go beyond that, to eventually give people superhuman sight. Imagine being able to see in infrared or ultraviolet, spectrums that are totally invisible to us now.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway? It's this. All the technologies we've talked about, the robots, the AGI, the power stations in space, they aren't just ideas on a whiteboard. They are actively being built right now. So the real question isn't if this huge transformation is coming. The question is, are we as a species ready for it when it gets here?